what time it is, nigga.
Better watch how you step in. Yeah. But that was my niggas. Yeah.
A minute, yo. Got my nigga Rawan with me.
But that was my niggas, it'll be an honor.
You know what I'm saying?
Under commanding General, your honor. That for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Look, hey, straight off the top, I love all of my niggas. That shit ain't gon' stop till we on top. When we ballin', my niggas, we be fly as fuck. You know them bitches be stalking my niggas. That shit'll never change, and it's the same with all my niggas. City to city, I should be at home. That's what my ribs say. But bitch, I'm grown on many streets, close cash, and niggas know we bout that action. If a nigga play with me, then my heart can go let him have it. Hey, thank you, the shit, the truth, the shit. Nigga play, I let that Ruger hit. Get on them tracks, they be like, who is this? I'm rude with it. Ain't got no manners, all them pussy niggas talk the shit. Y'all know what can't stand us, but we UPK, Louisiana, bitch, that's what I'm rippin'. And my niggas solid number rims in my section. If you wanna get down, put your boots on, start steppin'. Brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how we steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a bless. Better watch how we steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how we steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a bless. Better watch how we steppin', cause I'm letting my weapons down right now. For all my sisters and brothers, because I love my city, I'm down in the It's amazing to see how well we adapt from the struggle. Born again from a life of sin, trapping in the gut. My mind frame was to kill my own kind. Feeling inferior, waking up ready to die. Run with them kids, so it's just a matter of time. But why take your life for that? You take mine. That's when I realized the slaves killing slaves while the white man living get old. We in them graves, shit got me feeling plain. I opened the Bible, went through them records, found out we was royalty, a nation to be respected. But in this world we rejected, we hated for our complex. Still fighting to get accepted. We hear the truth and reject it, but love is getting corrected. And all my niggas correct me. The commandments of the foundation we erected. Brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a bless. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a bless. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. Hey, hey.
Don't mess up, no. Bad news is to be your own, nigga. Yeah. Who gon' get on that ass real quick one time? 144, man.
They say you get on, you gon' represent the Santa Claus. Soon as they train that bitch, I ride that bitch like a horse. She about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, that whole car. You ain't know they told me, Obi-Wan, I go with the force. You go around, yeah, of course, get it lit up like a torch. You either low or the Lord, so that bitch is either hard. Yeah, I know them niggas ain't cut like that, I swear to our car. Wait up, let me make a call right quick, I'ma start another war. I was hurt when she left, but I don't care about it anymore. I need a Vaseline like my Nina Papa boy. Told her Zach, watch the door. Matter of fact, lock the door. Any problem, let them come. We gon' send they so like Sideshow. Put them out of service, keep them tools like this harbor freight. Try to hold these way too late. I'm heading straight to the safe. Throw that one up like a trophy. That nigga ain't know the bait. Told them boys we taking over. wrong. I made this like I can't lose. They say you get on, you gon' represent. I said of course. Soon as they crank that beat, I ride that bitch just like a horse. She about to go down, yeah, bitch, the whole court. You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I come with the fart. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. Shake a low on the door. Told that bitch in the heart. Yeah, I know the nigga ain't cut like that. I swear I'm to our court. Yeah, I just got off the call. I'ma start another war. Spit a plate up with my niggas. Get your knife and your fart. He ain't locked in with the count and when you speaking to me fart. Yeah, I just took the floor. Ain't no cowards in my campaign. They can't stop the campaign. Tell them bring the champagne. They know I'm a champion. They can see the outcome. Get them niggas bad, got them tied down and out there. Can't do with them steppers, niggas been down since day one. We run up the bands, bitch like Dylan. They say you get on, you gon' represent. I said of course. Soon as they crank that beat, I ride that bitch just like a horse. Yeah, about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, we hold court. You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I come with the force. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. You either low or this low. Told that bitch is either or. I told you niggas you ain't cut like that. I swear I'm to our court. And I just made the call. We gon' start another war. Yeah.
Backstage.
You ain't no Israelite, bitch, you a gospelite, bitch.
Fuck you talking about?
If that nigga won't walk, bitch, we ready. It ain't hard to find us. Hawk, I keep that stick locked, loaded, boy, he'll fade you line up. Young nigga name is Slayer. What you think, boy, you be done to try. Soft cold shit, we bout it. UPK, you solid. Little bitch think I'm crazy, think I'm playing like bitch, I ain't the one. Warfare every day, so who is you, bitch? I don't need your love. Killers right round the way. What you think? I love this brotherhood. Hood. More than you, bitch. Sharp on shit, I'm bout it. UPK too solid. Fuck nigga don't want war. Ain't enough clips in your army. All the bitches wanna take my piece. All they hoes wanna take my piece. All the nigga wanna take my piece. No, I can't let a dog take it from me. I can't let a dog take it from me. You a hoe study and you dummy. And these bitches really out this bitch walking around like they don't know nothing. And a lame nigga fall for them and get set up for the coins and get gunned down, man down. Shoulda took the time, get a damn no. But I see the starter and I show her. She could never get a priest hoeing. You a dirt ass, rust ass neck bitch with a fake ass jewelry. In Tennessee while I'm touring. It's a Tennessee, but she luring. Yeah, that sucker duck bitch ass boy, fuck nigga over that bit mugger. I say, if that nigga won't walk, bitch, we ready. It ain't hard to find us. Hawk, I keep that stick locked, loaded, boy, he'll fade you line up. Young nigga name is Slayer. What you think, boy, you be done to try. Soft cold shit, we bout it. UPK too solid. Little bitch think I'm crazy, think I'm playing like bitch, I ain't the one. Warfare every day, so who is you, bitch? I don't need your love. Killers right round the way. What you think? I love this brotherhood. Hood. More than you, bitch. You a lame nigga down to me. Eat candy, but I'm sucker free. You a little nigga, ain't nothing to me. Base up, boy, I fit a beat. Yeah, AR-223. Draco with a magazine. Yeah, that clip look like limousine. I shoot your ass in the spleen. Boy, I bust your ass in the temple. We debating by the temple. Tell the truth, boy, you's a victim. And you squirm off like a lizard. Nigga walk down my road. Why does nigga come down my road? Boy, come down my road. Boy, I charge your ass toll fee. I'm a real big priest, nigga. UBK play for keys, nigga. Command to get a damn order, but ain't nothing to me to damn kill you. I stalking his ass like a cat. All weapons, boys full of tech. Boy, like a close combat. Nigga got popped off for a neck. If that nigga won't walk, bitch, we ready. It ain't hard to find us. Hawk, I keep that stick locked, loaded, boy, he'll fade you line up. Young nigga name is Slayer. What you think, boy, you be done to try. Soft cold shit, we bout it. UPK too solid. Little bitch think I'm crazy, think I'm playing like bitch, I ain't the one. Warfare every day, so who is you, bitch? I don't need your love. Killers right round the way. What you think? I love this brotherhood. Hood. More than you, bitch.
All right, Shalom, Yahaba Shemi Shah, Thumb, to all the brothers. Shalom, Yahweh Shemal Thumb, Shemi Shah, to all the sisters. It's the Friday night. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Start out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. It's the Friday night Lashawan Qadash class where we break down the scriptures from a linguistics perspective. I mean, something that your Christian pastor will never do in a million years because they're just simply not equipped to do it. I mean, which is why there's so many misunderstandings of the Bible in the Christian church, which is why the Christians don't understand the Bible, which is why they especially don't understand the New Testament, which is why the Christians think that the Most High loves everybody and that, you know what I'm saying, Christ died for everybody, and which is why the Christian church thinks that Christ died so that we all can just eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster and be, you know what I mean, all these deviants and drug addicts and all that we want to be. I mean, that's the whole reason. That's the foundation of the reason, because we don't understand the Hebrew. And then your Christian pastor is a snake and you know what I mean, a liar to you. So they'll teach you that the law is done away with because your oppressor teaches them to teach you that the law is done away with and that all these things that I just named. You know what I mean? That's why we think these things. But in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, I mean, we teach 7 days a week. We teach the Bible from an entire 360 scope. We teach scriptural breakdown class. We teach brotherhood law class. We teach Lashawan Qadash. We do the Sabbath service where we read the scriptures in the Hebrew, which we're about to do tonight. And then we break it down into English, which we're going to do tomorrow. All right. But your Christian church will never do these things. I mean, we do these things that we do. We teach all these classes that we teach in the ISUBK so that we get a full 360 scope of the scripture so that we can actually understand the Bible. Right, so that we can actually understand our culture. But your Christian church doesn't do that. All right, so if you actually want to understand your culture, come get in class, come and ask your questions, come and, you know what I'm saying, propose your challenges. You know what I mean, you hecklers as well, you know what I'm saying, you got your challenges, you don't believe the scriptures, you don't believe what we do is correct, come challenge us, and you know what I'm saying, you'll find out that we actually do know what the hell we talking about, and we will absolutely crush any opposition to the truth. So with that, you know what I'm saying, we're going to go ahead and get into our usual lesson. We're going to start off how we usually start off. I see you, young man, in the chat. I mean, what's going down? Young man, coming from Las Vegas, Nevada? I mean, yeah, y'all, what's going down with your warrior? I see strong in his truth. Uh, Anybody who got any questions or comments in the regarding the Lakwan Qadash, or if you got any question or comment off topic, you go ahead and put that in the chat as well. We may get to it, but tonight is a Lashawan Qadash class, so we prefer Lashawan Qadash related questions. But if you got any question off topic, we'll see if we can address it as well. You go ahead and put it in the chat, and we'll see what we can do. But go ahead, put in your questions on or off topic. We're going to start off the class as we usually do with the Lashawan Qadash alphabet. Before we start, make sure you got your learning utensils in front of you. Make sure you got your notes. Make sure you got make sure you got your notes in front of you, your Lashawan Qadash alphabet. Make sure you got your Hebrew, English to Hebrew. Salaki, let me turn my notifications off. Make sure you got your Hebrew to English dictionary in front of you, your King James Version Bible with concordance, or your King James Bible in front of you, and then your separate concordance if necessary. Make sure you got all your learning utensils in front of you, your Hebrew to English or Slacky, your biblical Hebrew workbook and textbook. Make sure you got your learning utensils in front of you. All the, you know what I'm saying, all the learning utensils that we mention every class. I don't have to go through each one individually. but make sure you got each and every one of your learning utensils in front of you. All right. So that we can learn together as a family. It's useless for you to be in class and you don't have your learning utensils in front of you and you don't know how to use the learning utensils. It's useless for you to ask a question, you know what I mean? And you've been in class for all this time. It's useless for you to keep asking questions or whatever the case is, and you're not familiar with the learning utensils. All right. So it starts there. And anytime you ask a question, I'm going to 9 times out of 10 redirect you to which utensil or which learning utensil you need to use, or that's going to be the foundation of it. You don't, you know what I mean? If you have a question, and of course, we don't mind answering questions. We don't mind if you ask questions, but it's going to start with the learning utensils because it's one thing for me to teach you it's one thing for brothers to, you know what I mean, to teach you or to give you the answer. But of course, we're going to give you the tools to be able to find the answer for yourself so that you can ask deeper questions. So that's the whole idea for tonight too. For every class that we teach in ISUBK. So I mean, you ask a question, the first thing that I'm 9 times out of 10 going to do is to redirect you to the learning utensils. All right. So if you're not familiar with those, or if you don't have them in front of you and you are familiar with them, then you're just going to kind of hit a wall. All right. So you don't have to, so you don't do that. So you don't hit that wall. Just make sure you got those learning utensils in front of you. Make sure you're studying, make sure you're getting familiar with these tools so that if you ever have a question, you can go through the scriptures, you can go through these learning tools yourself. And then if you have any further questions, you can ask those questions, having done your research and done your due diligence and not found your answers. And then you could bring those questions into Lashawan Qadash class or any class that you attended. All right. We're going to start off with the Lashawan Qadash alphabet like we always do. So starting from Ada Cha or Slakia, Ada Ta. It's Aba Gada Hawaza Cha Ta Ya Ka La Manasa I Pa Taza Kwa Rasha and Ta. All right. You should be familiar with the Lashawan Qadash alphabet from Ada Ta. I mean, without even referring to your notes. If you need to, that's fine. But the whole point is to be able to recite it from Ada Ta off the top of your memory without having to refer to your notes or without having to refer to the sheet, the Lashawan Qadash alphabet. But you want to be familiar with that so that you don't have to, because we're going to be reading it. The whole point is to be able to read it, write it, and to speak it fluently. But if you're reading it, writing it, or speaking it, it's going to be counterproductive. You got to constantly refer back to your notes. You know what I mean? You're not going to be able to speak the Lashawan Qadash if you're constantly referring back and forth to your notes. It's going to be real slow. It's going to be real choppy. It's not going to be fluent. And the whole point is to be fluent. All right. And then the numbers as well. Make sure you got your numbers. Make sure you're familiar with the numbers because it's also like we're going to go over in a little bit before we get into tonight's topic. Tonight we're going to go into, as we do every week, in lieu of any questions or comments, we go into what we're going to go into on Saturday when we do Sabbath service. So as you're going through the Sabbath service, whatever book, chapter, and verse we're in, you're gonna want to know some sight words. So certain things we're gonna be reading during the Sabbath service. We're gonna be reading the Lashawan Qadash. We're gonna be reading the Lashawan Qadash in the Hebrew, in the scriptures from Genesis to Malachi. You know what I mean? And what's going to be helpful as you read through it so that you're not stuttering and stammering and fumbling and tumbling and all of that through the scriptures and the Lashawan Qadash. What's going to be helpful is just having certain words, just things that you recognize off sight. So just looking at it, just like you do English. You know what I mean? Just like you do English, You don't have to sound out each and every character. You can just read the words as they come. All right, that's how you want to be with the Lashawan Qadash. So the goal is to be able to commit certain words to memory, certain words as sight words, as we call them. All right. So that's why we're gonna go over the numbers, because the numbers should be sight words. Just like you should be able to look at the characters in the Lashawan Qadash off site and note and identify each character in the Lashawan Qadash, you should be able to identify the numbers as well. And that's going to help you as you go through it on Saturday or during Sabbath service. You should be able to look at these things and be able to identify them and be able to point them out off site. You know what I mean? So that's going to be another thing. And we're going to go over a couple more sight words before we get into the lesson tonight. But the numbers from 1 to 10, I mean, that's going to be the start of it. Knowing your numbers from 1 to 10, and then 1 to 100. You see any of these characters, if you commit 1 through 10 and then 1 through 100, which is basically 1 through 10. If you commit 1 through 100 in Hebrew to your memory, then anytime you see a number in general in the scriptures, it don't matter what it is. You commit 1 through 100 or 1 through 10. 1 through 10 is the foundation. And then if you know 1 through 10, then you know 1 through 100 off the rip. And we're going to get to it in a little bit. But if you commit that to memory, then you'll have, anytime you see a number in the scriptures, then it'll be a sight word to you. All right. So 1 through 10 is Achad, which is 1, Shanya 2, Shalash 3, Arabah 4, Hamash 5, Shesha 6, Shabbat 7, Shemana 8, Thashai 9, Ishra 10. All right. You commit 1 through 10 to memory. You study. You don't even got to just say it over and over. I mean, just like we did tonight, just now. So you say Achad, Shanya, Shalach, Arabah, Chamash, Shesha, Shabbat, Shemawanat, Thashai, Ishra. Do 10 push-ups. And as you count, instead of saying 1 through 10, just say Achad, Shanya, Shalash, Arabah, Chamash, so on and so forth, all the way to Ishra, which is 10. Or you counting on your fingers. Achad, Shanya, Shalash, Arabah, Chamash, Shesha, Shabbat, Shemawanat, Thashai, Ishra. Count from 1 to 10 and get used to it. Count from 1 to 10 so that you could commit it to memory. Same with the alphabet. Say the Lashawan Qadash alphabet from A to Tha until you get it, until you get a cadence, until you get it buried in yourself. Because this is your culture and your identity, your language. Black, Hispanic, and Native American brothers and sisters. This is your language. So say these things. Abagada hawaza, hatayaka la manasai, pataza kwa rashata. Say that until you get it, until it's embedded in you. Just like your oppressor's language is embedded in you. Make sure your language is embedded in you because this is yours. Your oppressor's language don't belong to you. Black man, Hispanic man, Native American man. Your oppressor's language doesn't belong to you, whether you speak Spanish, English, Patois, whether you speak French, Italian, German, whatever your language is. If you're Black or Hispanic or Native American, that language doesn't belong to you, but the Hebrew does. So just as much effort, some of us are bilingual, trilingual. Some of us speak 5 or 6 languages. So just as much effort that we put into understanding our oppressors' languages, we need to put more effort into understanding our language because it belongs to us. All right. So the least that we can do with that being said is understand the Lashawan Qadash from A to Tha, each character. The least we can do is understand the numbers from Achad, which is 1, to Ishra, which is 10. And then from 10 to 100. So you got Ishra Yum. So Ishra is 10. Ishra Yum is 20. Salakia. Shalashiyum is 30. Salakia. Arabayum is 40. Hamashiyum is 50. And basically, you see the pattern. You know what I mean? You going through the Lashawan Qadash, you take each individual word or each individual number, and then add yum to the end, and now you go from Ishara or Salakia. Arabai is 4, Araba yum is 40, for example. So you just take those words and just add yum to the end, and now you have now we're going from counting by tens, and then 100, of course, is ma'ath. All right, but as much effort as we put in to understand our oppressor's language, we need to put in double the effort to understand our language, because this is ours. The Hebrew is ours, Black, Hispanic, and Native American, man. All right. So make sure you got those under your belt. Make sure you understand your numbers. Make sure you understand your pictographs as well, because those as well are sight words. All right. So each character, again, as we talked about last week, we talked about uh going through each Lashawan Kodash character, or Lashawan Kodash going through each Lashawan Kodash character, and uh understanding each pictograph that's associated with each Lashawan Kodash character. All right. So make sure you got that as well. Each character, there's 22 characters. So you should at least have 22 Lashawan Kodash sight words associated with each character. That's going to help you, so that when we read the Lashawan Kodash in whatever book, chapter, or verse we're in, you can commit certain words. And we're going to see a couple words in, we're going to see a couple of these words tonight. You know what I mean? We don't see them tonight, but when you see these words associated with these characters, you can just automatically associate. You can automatically associate them with sight words. You know what I mean? As sight words, you can automatically just see them and be like, okay, I know what this is, and then you can be more fluent in reading and writing and speaking the Lashawan Qadash. All right. So, so you got alap, which is cow, ba, bayath, Salakia, tent, Ga Gamal, which is camel, Da Dalath, door, Hawa, or Slakia, Hana, which is behold, Wa, which is wall, which is fish hook, Za, which is Zion, which is weapon, Ha, Hauma, wall or fence, and so on and so forth. But all of these things, when you see them in the scriptures, and we're going to read it in the English tonight as well, you know what I mean, which we about to do here in a second. But as you read it in the English, you'll be able to pick out certain sight words. So when you read them in the Lashawan Kodash, it won't be so taboo to you. So with that, you know what I mean, let's go ahead and we're gonna pick up, you know what I mean, pending any questions or comments. If you got any questions or comments, or whatever the case is, you got any questions or comments regarding the Lashawan Kodash, you go and put them in the chat. Or you can ask them at any time. You know what I mean? You ain't gotta worry about the topic or anything like that. You just ask your question, and we can get an answer for you at any time. But we're gonna go ahead and read. We're gonna go through Genesis. We left off, I believe, last week. Genesis chapter 25, verse 23. We're gonna pick up Genesis chapter 25, verse 24, in Lashawan Kodash. All right, but when you read, and we're gonna read in Sabbath service. We're gonna read it in Sabbath service. But if you got any for Sabbath service, we usually start off. We'll read the Lashawan Kodash first. So we'll open the scriptures, starting at Genesis tonight. Starting at Genesis chapter 25, verse 24. We'll read it in the Hebrew during Sabbath service, and then we'll read it in the English and we'll break it down in the English. But Lashawan Kodash class Friday night, we'll read it in the English first, and then read it in the Hebrew, break it down in the Hebrew, which is advantageous to us when we're trying to get the breakdown, because we can read it in the English and then pick out any sight words, which is what we're going to do here in a second. And then as we read it in the Hebrew, we'll already know what these sight words are. So when we read it in the Hebrew, we ain't got to stutter over it, like I mentioned before. You ain't got to stutter or hesitate or none of that. You could just read it, because we already know, we already did the studying and the due diligence before Sabbath service. And that's what Friday night is for. You know what I mean? Friday night is for us to be able to go over it. Friday night is for us to go over it, be able to read it, be able to ask your questions, and then so that we're prepared for Saturday. All right. So let's go ahead and go into Salakia. Let's go ahead and go into the English Salakia, or the Salakia, the English. We're gonna go into Hebrew Salakia, Genesis chapter 25, verse 24. Well, let's read verse 23 first. We'll read verse 23 for context, and then we're going to read verse 24. That's where we're going to be starting at, verse 24. All right, so it says, and the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. So this is a prophecy that the Elohim are given to Sarah and Abraham, or Slakia, Isaac and Salahi. Let's see who this is. Rebecca, Isaac and Rebecca, regarding their twin children. All right. So that's the whole context. That's what we're talking about. So the Elohim is giving Isaac and Rebecca this prophecy regarding their twin children that Rebecca is carrying currently, and she's struggling. You know what I'm saying? She's having a difficult pregnancy, and the angels are telling her that the reason why she's having this difficult pregnancy is because of the manner of the children that she's having. She's having 2 nations of people. There are 2 nations of people in her that'll be separated from her bowels, and that should let you know. Just a sidebar. That should let you know off the rip that your you know what I mean, like a lot of people like to say that we all one people and that we all bleed red, we all were you know what I mean, the Most High created all of us. None of that matters. And it's letting you know this right now, right here in Genesis chapter 25, verse 23. It's letting you know that right here, because the Most High is saying that there are 2 nations in Rebecca's in Rebecca, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from her bowels. So before they were even born, they were separated. So that should let you know that all people, you know what I'm saying, Martin Luther King's dream was a joke, because we were never intended, you know what I'm saying? He said, I have a dream that one day we will all be equal and we will all hold hands and love one another and all of that garbage. All of that nonsense is a joke, and that's a ploy of your oppressor, because the Most High right here is letting you know that even during the birth of Jacob and Esau, that these 2 nations will be separated before she even had them. And these are 2 different nations, as it says in verse 23. It said 2 nations are in thy womb. So these are 2 separate nations, and they will be separated. And that should let you know also that it's not about your color, your skin color, or your phenotype, or where you were born, whether you were born in Africa or Jamaica or Asia or China or Japan or Russia or wherever you were born, or America. It's not about where you were born. It's about who the Most High chose, which is indicated several times over and over in the scriptures. You know what I mean? But It's showing you right here. It's laying it out flat that these two nations will be separated from in Rebecca's womb. So before she even gave birth to these children, they were separated. All right. Verse 24. And when her days, it's like, and when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. So again, so the prophecy that the Elohim gave her, that the Most High gave her, once that was fulfilled, then it was proven, or once she had the children, once the days of her, once she fulfilled the days of her pregnancy. I mean, you know how that is, sisters. When you have a child or when you have children, you go through a time period where you're carrying the child. The child is growing in your stomach. You have your trimesters. You have your first, second, and third trimester, and then you have your you go into labor, and then you give birth to the child. But it's lucky. But you know how that goes. When you got your trimesters, and then you give birth to the child. Well, this is what this is talking about. When those days were fulfilled, then the prophecy that the Elohim gave Isaac and Rebecca came true, because when she gave birth, when her days were fulfilled, when she went through her trimesters, when she went through her labor and gave birth to those children, though there were twins. Let's read verse 25 and 26 just for context, and we're gonna break it down. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called him Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 old when she bare them. So again, what we talked about earlier, in verse 23, that the elder would serve the younger, and that the younger would be stronger than or one people shall be stronger than the other people. Well, we just read in verse 25, verse 26, that Esau came out and he looked totally different than Jacob. So Esau came out red and hairy like a hairy garment, and then Esau came out and or it's like it, and then Jacob came out after. But it said that the elder will serve the younger, meaning that the one that came out red and hairy would serve Jacob. Now, what you'll understand later, I mean, this ain't scripture breakdown class, but what you'll understand later is that the former child that came out will be the description of Esau, or your oppressor, the progenitor of your oppressor, red and hairy, which is the progenitor of the manner of people who were red and hairy on this earth today, which is the Edomites, so-called Edomites, the so-called the oppressor. You know what I mean? The leaders of America, you know what I mean, who hold the highest seat in America today. I mean, they are red and hairy. I mean, who receive all the benefits, no matter what they do, you know what I mean? You can repeat the exact same pattern of behavior as your oppressor today, and they'll receive a totally different punishment than you, or they'll receive no punishment, whereas you'll lose your life. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I don't have to go any further. You know the difference between you and your oppressor. And you know who is red and hairy on this earth today. I mean, but all of these are the description of your oppressor. But that's the difference between Jacob and Esau. But it also just said that the elder will serve the younger. So even though Esau, who is red and hairy and is the elder brother, he came out first, he will serve the younger, who is Jacob. Jacob is the progenitor of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So this prophecy is saying that the elder Esau will serve Jacob. All right. Meaning your oppressor will eventually serve you, Black, Hispanic, and Native American man. And that's what these other nations were meant for, which is another indicator that or the Slakia, what's that? Martin Luther King in his dream is a lie and a nightmare to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, because he wanted everybody to be equal and the same and to love one another. And, you know what I'm saying, for little white girls and little black boys to hold hands and love one another so that he can fulfill his lust of wanting to sleep with our oppressor. But that's how you know that his dream was a nightmare, because what the Most High, or what the Elohim is, what the Most High through the Elohim is prophesying to Isaac and Rebekah, is that the elder will serve the younger, and that we are a separate people. These are two different nations, like we read in verse 23, who will be separated. Not even from the moment Isaac Jacob and Esau were born, not even from the moment they were born, but from the womb of Rebekah. Since they were conceived, since conception, these two nations will be separated. So that's how you know Martin Luther King's dream was a nightmare and a lie and deception to Black people, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You know what I mean? But that's the whole context. So we're gonna be going through, we're gonna be breaking down Genesis chapter 25 and verse 24, I believe. Let me see, Salakia. Verse 24. We're gonna pick out a couple sight words. All right. Then we'll read it in English real quick. All right, so it says and, right? So and, we already know and is the preposition wa. So you should automatically be able to pick that out. 9 times out of 10, when we start off, I guess, a phrase, it's gonna 9 times out of 10. It's like 9 times out of 10 start off with waya, right? It's gonna start off with waya, so you can expect to see that, especially when in the English it starts off with the word and. You can expect the prepositions wa and ya to be there. When, her, right? So her is gonna be hana'a, right? In the Hebrew, that's gonna be something that you're gonna want to be slacking. Let me put this on the as I'm going through it. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Slacking. Salakia. But so she is Hana'a. But either it's Hana'a, you might see Hana'a in the scriptures, or you're gonna see the preposition for, or you might select it. You'll see the possessive for she in the scriptures, which will be a ha at the end, or depending on the context, depending on how it's used, you might see a tha, you might see wath. So just look out for those things when we're talking about in a feminine context. Just make sure you look out for those things. Uh, but just keep an eye out for that. So just make sure. So you'll see and, which is wa. You'll see waha probably. Just keep a eye out for that. Her will be 9 times out of 10 possessive, which would be ha, wath, or tha, depending on how it's used. Or you might see ha na'a, right? Salakia. Days is yum yum, right? Keep an eye out for that. To be delivered or fulfilled. Behold is hana'a, or Salakia hana. there were twins in her womb. All right. There's a couple sight words in there, but you do want to again, what we talked about earlier, just having those sight words and having those sight words on deck and having those committed to memory. That's going to help you out a lot as you read and through the Lashawan Qadash, so you don't have to fumble through so much. And then also being present in the Lashawan Qadash class on Friday, it'll help you go through it. It'll help you with going through it during you know what I'm saying, Lashawan Qadash class. So when you see it on Saturday, you don't have to. You'll be familiar. You already know what you're gonna come against. All right. And then like tonight, you know what I mean, we just went over a couple sight words uh in the scriptures. Last week we had a lot more. We had a lot more sight words. This week is not really too many. It was a couple. It was enough for you to get the point, but it wasn't a lot like last week. And that just, you know what I mean? Sometimes, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna be like that. But I mean, that's why we do Lashawan Kodash class, so that you can ask your questions, you can build your vocabulary, and then that's why we do Sabbath service on Saturday. So when you read through it, certain things should become sight words. All right. That's certain things should become sight words as you read them through it. So even if there's not a lot of sight words, like for example, a good example is Genesis 1, chapter 1, verse well, really the first chapter. You get a lot of sight words that you're going to see all throughout the scriptures, and then those will become sight words. Like for example, IWAP is you know, so you got IWAP, I believe, is bird. You got Aratazal, earth. Mayum, which is water. Yum, which is sea. Shemayim, which is heaven. Itaza, which is tree. I mean, these are all sight words that you'll see throughout the first chapter of Genesis. And then these are words that you're going to see throughout the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? They're just simple words that you can get used to reading the scriptures as we go through each chapter. That's going to keep coming up. I mean, the earth, the trees, the water, the sea, the heaven, I mean, things like that. These are all things that's going to keep coming up. And we learn those sight words from from being in Lashawan or Salakia. Yeah, from being in Lashawan Kodash class and being in Sabbath service, so that these words can become familiar to us. All right. So tonight, again, there's not a lot of sight words, but when there's not a lot of sight words or a lot of words that you don't recognize, you know what I mean, you could take that as an opportunity to gain some sight words, learn some words that you didn't know before, and that's how you're gonna build your vocabulary. That's the only way you're gonna build your vocabulary. I mean, by breaking out of your comfort zone, not being scared to learn something new. I mean, which is how language works. I mean, you build your vocabulary, you learn certain words, they become familiar to you. You don't stop there, or else you're not going to be fluent in that language. You're just going to have your limited vocabulary. But that's how this is going to work. All right. So, Lord willing. And then also, what I would recommend, something I've done over the past couple years, as I go over certain words, as I get familiar with certain words or learn new words, read new words, I I started to kind of keep a running list of words. Right. So as I come into a new word, or if I break down like for example, like a good place to start is with the prayers. So you break down the prayers, get certain words out of the prayers, because it's structured the same way as Bible Hub is, with the prepositions, possessors, root words, tenses, and all of that, as we been over countless times. So you could take those things, keep a running list of root words that you pull from breaking down those phrases or those clusters of characters. and then keep a running list of root words. So that's something that you can do to help you build your vocabulary. All right. So as you read through as we go through Lashawan Qadash, or as we go through the Sabbath service, Salakia, as you go through the Sabbath service, as you're reading it, just keep in mind certain words, or, you know what I'm saying, certain words that you don't recognize. If you don't recognize something, just keep it in mind. You can write it down as we go through the Lashawan Qadash, and then add it to your running list of root words, and then that's how you're gonna build your vocabulary, and that's how you're gonna build your questions as well, so that you can come to Lashawan Qadash class. You don't have to, you know what I mean, just kind of go through the motions. You can come to Lashawan Qadash with questions. You come to Sabbath service and be prepared. All right, let's see. Verse 25. Let me see. Oh, Salakia, verse 24. The book of Genesis, chapter 25, verse 24 in the Hebrew. It says, Waya mala'awa yum ya la Salakia la ladath wa hana sawamam babatana. All right. Let me see. Make sure I'm sharing my screen. Make sure you got your Bible Hub. Make sure you got your Bible Hub open so that you can follow along and get this breakdown so that we can be prepared for the Sabbath service. All right. So like I said earlier, that waya usually at the beginning of a phrase, it's going to start off with that waya, indicating the qual stem, meaning that's going to be that's just going to be Salakia. It's just going to indicate that it's going to indicate that a word is being used in the simplest form, basically. Like, so, and he said, and that's the most common usage, right? So you'll see waya amar, waya dabar, and he said, and he did, and he spoke, and this, that, and the third. So whenever you at the beginning of a sentence indicating something's being done, or when it's attached to a verb, you're going to see waya indicating that a verb is being used in the simplest form. All right. So with that being said, you can assume that mala is a verb. All right. And if you're not familiar with a word or a phrase, you can just click on the concordance code. It's a useful tool. You can click on the concordance code as you're reading in Bible Hub and get the full breakdown. Let me know if you can see on the screen what I got here, because it's going to be very important for you to be able to navigate these tools. All right. But what you're going to want to do is just click on that concordance code so that you can be familiar. And it's going to tell you Malah means to be full or to fill. All right. We read in the English that we're talking about Rebecca's days being fulfilled, right, with her pregnancy with her twins being fulfilled after she was given the prophecy. All right. And then you'll read underneath in the red, it'll say in the English, it'll be a rough translation. You don't want to use a lot of times the English won't quite line up with the Lashawan Qadash because it's two different languages, two different sentence structures. So just be aware of that. But you can look down at the English and get an idea of where you at and what we're talking about, what the context is. But you just got to be wise about it. You just got to be smart about it. Don't lean on it. The wisest thing to do is just study the Lashawan Qadash so that you can be familiar. But you can look down at the English and get an idea of what we're talking about so that you can remember those sight words, so that you can remember the context of what we're talking about, so that it can make reading during Sabbath service easier for you. But you don't want to use it as like as a cheat code per se. You don't want to use it like that. You could just look down at it, get your footing, and then lean on your studies, lean on your diligent efforts and your diligent, the diligent work you put in to understand the language. Right, that's what you want to lean on. All right. So we got Waya Malaawa. All right. So it's like Mala, meaning to be full or to fulfill in English. Right. Again, we talked about just now. It's a different language, different sentence structure. So to be full or to fill is the same as fulfill in English. Right. And then that leaves the wa at the end. The wa at the end means he or his. He, his, or it. Now, if you look at the context of what we're talking about, you can tell which one we're talking about, he, his, or it. Now, that's why we read the English before. Now we're talking about Rebecca's days being fulfilled. So we're not talking about he or his. So you have to understand through practical knowledge, through practical application of the language, that if it's not he or his, that just leaves it. So this Y at the end means it, right? So and it was fulfilled, right? Next phrase, yum ya, right? Yum is slakia. Yum is days, right? Yum is day, right? Or days. And then ya and slakia. The ha at the end indicates, as we talked about earlier, because we know that we're talking about a sister or in a feminine tense. When we read Genesis chapter 25, we know that we're talking about Rebecca. So we know that we're talking about a feminine sense. It said Slakia, when her days, all right. So when we read that earlier, we indicated that her is going to pop up somewhere as a sight word, whether it's a possessive that comes at the end or whether it's a root word, which would be Hana'a, right? What we see here that appears as a ha at the end of a phrase, right? Like we predicted before, just from using our sight words, just from using what we already know in our notes, right? So we know that ha is indicating feminine, right? And that wa or slakia, that ya salakia. Let me highlight it. Whenever you see a ya in the middle of or after a root word, in between a root word and a possessive, which comes at the end of a root word, is just a lot of times a ya is used as a buffer between a root word and a possessive, just for flow. You know what I mean? So you'll see yum, yaha, like you see here, or you might see yaka, yaka, yawa, yanawa, right? As you see in the Lord's Prayer, wasalaki lanawa, wasalaki nawa, right? You'll see that ya in the middle or in between a root word and a salaki and a possessive to be a buffer for better sentence flow, to indicate that a possessive is coming. And an easy way to remember that is to remember that the possessive ya means me or my, indicating possession. So you say something is mine or belongs to me or is mine or my, you're indicating possession. So when you see a ya, an easy way to remember that is to remember that me or my indicates possession, and that's going to prepare you for a possessive to follow afterwards. All right. Then the next phrase is ladath. All right. So another sight word I forgot to mention is lad, which is child or to bear or to give birth. All right. So whenever you see that word, just know it has something to do with childbearing, whether it's talking about a child, a son, or birth, or to bear. So before that, so we know that lad is the root word. So the la is a possessive, meaning who, which you should already have in your notes. And then the tha is is talking about categories, right? So that tha is talking about categories of stages, all right? So again, we was talking about lot can be either to bear, to give birth, or a child. So those are three different stages of a child. So you got conception, the carrying or the bearing of the child, and then you got the actual living, breathing, walking, talking child. All right. So that's just that tha. When you see a tha at the end of a word, it's talking about categories or stages of something. All right. So that's why you see that here. So it says la la da. It's talking about category. And we got wa hana. We talked about earlier. Hana is behold, because we understand if you're a diligent, you know what I'm saying? If you're diligent in the ISBK, you know what I mean? You're a diligent student. You're studying the Lashawan Qadash. You have your sight words in front of you, you have your notes in front of you, taking diligent notes. You know that Hana is behold because it pertains to one of the Lashawan Kodash characters. Ha uh, comes from the word Hana, which means behold. Right. So just knowing your characters and where they come from, the pictographs, you can or you can commit those to sight words. You can put those in your notes, and then you can add those to your sight words as you study those. So Hana, as we talked about earlier, is a sight word meaning behold, or there it is, or there was. We go ahead and click on the concordance code just to get a better idea of it. It says, after all, behold, go, hear, how, if he sees, indeed, look, now, see, surely, there. All right, that's what we're talking about. All right, so we're talking about the prophecy that Rebecca was given. So she was given a prophecy, and then after she went through her labor, there was the prophecy. All right. So wa hana. So hana means behold, or there was. Wa in the beginning means and, as we talked about earlier. So and there it was, right? Wa hana, and behold, and look, and there it was, right? Mum, right? The wum is twins, right? Or twin. Then the mum is twins, plural, right? And then ba, salakia. And then batan, salakia, is womb, right? Click on that concordance code. It's belly, body, or womb, right? You see it right here. Let's go ahead and highlight that, right? So, and then here's the Hebrew word right here. It says batan, right? And that's what you see here, ba, ta, and na. All right. So if that's the root word, then this right here in the front has to be a possessive, or it's like a preposition. The ba as a preposition just means in. And then at the end, that ha just means her, is a possessive meaning her, right? Or a feminine tense. So in her womb. So this is the whole method that you're going to use as we go through Sabbath service, or as you break down any Lashawan Kodash phrase, or whatever the case is. But the ideal thing, like just how we did tonight, Like also when we go through the Lashawan Qadash class on Friday, I mean we gonna go through the Sabbath, what we gonna prepare for, or what we gonna be seeing in Sabbath service. But what you want to do is just do this on your own time. All right, go through the scriptures. Just pull. You could pull out any scripture. Pull out any scripture. Just pick a random scripture, go through it, read it in the Lashawan Qadash, and use this same method. Separate the prepositions from the root word, and then separate the possessive from the root word to tenses, and then break it all down. Click on the concordance code. Get used to using all these tools that we use. Memorize your sight words. Memorize your numbers. Memorize your characters, and that's how you're gonna grow in the Lashawan Kodash. So we using what we gonna go into on Sabbath service as an example. And as you see over the past couple classes, we don't even go through the whole, you know what I'm saying? There's no way we can go through the whole, uh, all the chapters that we're going to go through during Sabbath service without actually doing Sabbath service during Lashawan Kodash class. So you'll see that we don't even, we'll just go over the first couple chapters or it's like your first couple verses. But we just using that as an example. But what you want to do is do exactly what we did Friday night and just take that to other scriptures so that when Sabbath service comes up, no matter what city you in, no matter where you are in Sabbath service, or whatever the case is, you know what I'm saying? Even, you know what I'm saying, fake Israelite groups and Christians and Muslims and Catholics and all of that, they might even challenge you in a Hebrew. But if you make it a habit of just going into the Hebrew and being able to break it down and read it in a Lashawan Kodash, then you can use that as a tool to cut them and be constantly prepared. You know what I mean? So that's what you want to do in any book, chapter, or verse, regardless. You know what I mean? Especially in the Old Testament. And that's going because again, that's the whole reason why, well, that's a big reason why these Christian churches and these Christian Israelite groups and just the average everyday person don't understand the New Testament or the Bible in general because of the Hebrew. So that's why when they read the New Testament, they see the words like Gentile or you know what I mean, he or what else? But Gentile is a big one. But when they see words like that, they think that means everybody. And when they see whosoever and whatever the case is, they think that's why they think God loves everybody and that Christ died for everybody and that the laws were done away with because they don't understand this Hebrew. So you understanding this Hebrew will give you the tools to easily be able to cut Christians and to, you know what I mean, to be able to give you a better understanding of the Bible. But with that, you know what I mean, we're going to go ahead and close out. Let me see. Check. I don't see any questions or comments. Make sure you're doing your due diligence. Make sure you got your build on your notes. Make sure you got your notes in front of you. Make sure you preparing for Sabbath service, and make sure you participate in the Sabbath service as well. All right, so that you can you can compound on your knowledge, so you can build on your list of root words, so that you can build on your understanding, so you can prepare questions for the next class, or you can prepare questions before Sabbath service so that you can be completely prepared for Sabbath service. Or you can prepare questions for Lashawan Kodash class, Salakia. And then once you get into Sabbath service, you're going to be absolutely prepared and understand what you're reading instead of just going through the motions so that you can retain information. But with that, we're going to say Imajim, which means a stand. I'm going to give a courtesy salute to the brothers in the Visual Majim Shabbat. Imajim, Barak, Yahaba, Chimiyah, Shah, Brakathon, Yajim Matah. So we're going to turn it to the sisters, give a courtesy salute to the sisters in the Visual Majim Shabbat. Imajim, Barak, Yahweh Shamar Latham Bashim Yahweh Shah, Yajim Matah, dismiss.